Why do we spend so much money on useless items? Welcome back to the fifth episode of the Yabble. Today, we are asking ourselves this million-dollar question. Why on earth do we spend so much money on completely useless items, only to feel empty the exact second it arrives at our doorstep? Also, please pardon my raspy, sexy voice today because I'm still a bit sick. Honestly, I've been sick for a while now, about a week. And when I went to work for 3 days, I think it kind of escalated my raspy voice, and I still feel congested. I literally feel that I'm swimming at the bottom of the ocean. But that's fine. Also, is the audio quality more crisp? Because I changed my mic. Oh yeah, I upgraded my set for my lovely 48 subscribers. Yay! But I mean, it still goes or aligns to this week's topic on why do we buy so much useless items. Do I need this mic? No. But do I want this mic? Yes, absolutely. So, congested or not, or breaking the bank or not, we have an urgent emotional and financial crisis to unpack today. So, grab your tea and let's talk about why our brains love to sabotage our bank accounts. Queen of consumerism. I have a serious shopping addiction. I hate how I purchase so much items that I don't need and classify it as retail therapy. I understand that stress can often result me in going on my phone or on my iPad and going on those shops like TikTok shops, Amazon, or even Taobao. Taobao is a China e-commerce platform that sells really, really cheap items, insanely cheap, and the clothes there, oh my god, it's beyond imaginable. Way better than what you see in retail stores physically. To buy the most ridiculous item. Last month, in the month of July, I recall spending, I would say, quite a few bucks on online shopping alone. Tell me why do I need a over $300 IPL machine? IPL is just hair, it's like a laser machine to remove your hair. Do I need it? Honestly, no. I can just, do the most basic routine of hair removal, just shave and call it a day. But no, I want to amp up a little. Not only that, I also spend a few $100 on beauty products. I bought a new moisturizer, new perfume, some hair products. Do I need it? No, I would just usually console myself by saying, I'm just a girl. This is just, if I go with math my way through, it's technically free because I use it every day. But the thing is, I don't need these products. Like one beauty product, I would say, for example, a perfume, it can last me a whole year. Do I need to buy many other makeup products like lipstick, concealer? No, it can last me at least half a year. So I don't need to buy this much products. I just fell into the loop of consumerism. Heck, I spent also $100 last week buying this microphone that upgrade this podcast setups, but honestly, not only that, half of them is probably me that listens to this podcast, but also I just feel it's not needed. Shameless to say, I honestly do not care when I make these purchases because I truly enjoy it and I don't get it. I don't get why. Why do I keep going on Taobao whenever I'm stressed? Why do I seek help from online e-commerce platforms instead of going down to the root cause that's causing my stress? The dopamine trap. Did you actually want that item or did your brain just needed a quick shot of dopamine because your day was miserable? Neuroscience shows that dopamine spikes during the search and anticipation of buying, where it's not when we actually own the item. The second we, as a consumer, click on place order or checkout, the dopamine level crashes instantaneously, which is why you immediately start wanting to fill your cart again. How many of us can relate to this problem where we add a bunch of items into our shopping cart online? I would say my Taobao cart would probably easily round up to more than tens, sometimes 100 of items. And it's the most random things, okay? Let me open up my phone right now and let me scroll through the items that is on my Taobao cart. Currently, I have a bunch of household decors because I really wanted to make my room feel more cozy. And I added a lot of items in the morning when I was in the gym, trying to, relax between my sets. That's what I do during break time. I have some flower vases. I have this very strong adhesive tape, which I probably do not need. This mini table to put my bed so I can do work on my bed. I have these coasters, very fancy looking coasters, a tray, another tray, a clock, more coasters, this drawer that I can put in my living room because my mom likes to hog a bunch of snacks on living room table. Like, is this an Asian thing? It is so bad. Every time I eat outside, it looks so messy, but I keep indulging in more food because the item is just staring at me, so I decided to get a drawer. And also, in the month of August, as I'm filming this, I have a bunch of Christmas items because I cannot wait for Christmas to come, and I have gotten some Christmas decors. Last year I got a Christmas tree, so this year I'm planning to get just more of living room decors to place around basically the living room. Yeah. And a pink wig. Why the heck do I need a pink wig? Oh yeah, another journal because my journal is running out. Can you believe it? I filled that shit out within 2 to 3 months. Usually I take about a year to finish my journal. But recently, as of this year, I just started journaling almost every other day. So that goes back to the topic. Why on earth do we buy so much things we don't need? I just cleared my cart in context. I just cleared it last month, like end of last month. Now it's still August, like the first, okay, I think it's the second week of August. It's just, I never truly feel satisfied. But it relates to why we have added so much more items to our online cart, where we treat it like a personal digital museum, where we feel a strange sense of loss once the package actually gets ordered and arrives at our doorstep, and we want more. We need more items because we crave that dopamine effect. Stress spending. Retail therapy isn't just about the item anymore. It's a coping mechanism for when life feels completely out of your hands. When life feels chaotic or out of control because of school, work, or personal relationships, spending money just gives us a false sense of instant relief, agency, as well as control. Purchasing something is a fast, low effort decision that tricks your brain into feeling accomplishment. For instance, Science Direct reported that 25.8% of respondents expected to increase their spending during the pre pandemic levels, while 29.2% plan to keep it unchanged. However, this means that during periods of severe uncertainty and initial crisis, such as during our COVID 19 lockdown, the immediate instinct for a large sense of depopulation is financial preservation and restraint. However, after some time, which is during the post lockdown, this report was in November 2020. So COVID back then, I think it started around the first half of 2020. So it was January. It was between January all the way to June. However, post lockdown, starting from November 2020, where everyone was slowly starting to ease back into their work life, their school life, everyone is still wearing masks, but in terms of lifestyle, we're slowly easing back to how we normally was. By November 2020, as lockdown restrictions eased, the proportion of consumers expecting to increase spending jumped significantly to 34.1%, while those that intended to decrease spending have dropped to 23%. So just now, as I mentioned, previously was 25.8% plan to increase spending. That was during the pre-pandemic levels where everyone was just, trying to survive. We do not know what else will happen, and we plan to save money. That 25.8% rose up to 34.1. That is crazy. While those who wanted to not increase their spending, which is just preserve it, previously in pre-pandemic levels was 39.2. However, post-lockdown, it has dropped to 23%. So, what this means is, as emotional strain shifts from immediate panic to prolonged burnout, consumers experience a rebound effect. Once opportunity and freedom returns, people rapidly accelerate their spending to compensate for their lost control or past deprivation. The sentiment split. Consumer sentiment correlated directly with spending intentions, where respondents who expected to increase spending have held a high consumer sentiment index, that's CSI, of 103.7, whereas those expecting to decrease spending have fell to 73.1%. For reference, it's the higher the CSI, the more that consumers are willing to spend. So, what this means would be that spending behavior is deeply tied to emotional optimism and mood elevation, where buying things serves as a direct psychological mechanism to feel better or when they feel more positive about the future. The fantasy self delusion. How much money have you spent trying to buy your way into becoming a completely different person? Psychologists calls this buying for your idolized persona, where we don't buy products for who we currently are, we buy them for the version of ourselves that we created, and we wish those idolized personas are actually who we are. For example, we think of us as the most perfect persona. For example, the girl who wakes up at 5 a.m., drinking green juice and going to the gym and staying hyper organized. Okay, what this means is we go to gyms at unrealistic hours, knowing damn well that we have no other plans that day other than school, and we just feel fatigued, so tired, right? Why do we need to wake up at 5 a.m.? And not only that, we buy all this very healthy food like green juice, a bunch of yogurt. I mean, yes, it's good to stay active, it's good to stay healthy, but are these the type of lifestyle that we already have embedded to our lives? Most of us know. I don't wake up at 5 a.m. drinking green juice and go to the gym. Do we need the expensive gym membership when we have a public gym? Okay, if it's relatable. No, you can just have access to those public gyms, or you can just run at a park. You can just, if you want to lift weights, you can buy those mini weights, bring it home and just do at home workouts. Why do we need to spend hundreds of dollars just to go to the gym? Unless it's really more towards we want to use the machines and we do not have access to it, okay, understandable. But for many of us, especially when we are at a young age, we do not need to spend so much money on gym memberships. In fact, I have not even spent on gym memberships until I was 19 and I had internship back then. So I felt that it was a good investment to go to the gym. And then as I entered uni, I've also worked a little and I get a little bit of allowance. I use a fraction of my allowance every month to go to the gym. And I think for me, at age 19, 20, going to the gym, very worth it because I get student discount additionally. But at a young age, like 13, 14, I don't think we should be spending money going to the gym. That's not worth it unless it's a really, really cheap gym, like $2 per entry. Okay, sure, why not? So this is the type of fantasy delusion that we have created for ourselves. Not only that, do we need a wardrobe full of clothes for an aesthetic life we don't actually live in? Like, do we need to buy 100 new clothes in the span of a year? No, we don't. We do not need that much clothes. Not only that, do we actually buy those cute gym sets, those sports bra, biker shorts, or some guys who probably wear this tight-fitting shirt? Like, I'm sure we are all overstimulated. I get overstimulated wearing such tight clothing, especially to the gym. I just wear a t-shirt and shorts. I don't care how crazy or how crusty I look. I'm going there for the workout, not to impress people. I'm going to the gym to impress myself. So, in fact, there was a period of time, I admit, I did buy cute gym sets. I bought several biker shorts, but now they're just sitting completely untouched in my closet, collecting dust. And one day I do hope to donate it when I have the time, because I don't wear them anymore. So does that truly give me a sense of gratification at the end of the day? No, it doesn't. I just created a bigger hole to my bank account. Social media brainwash. You don't actually hate yourself. TikTok just convinced you you're one purchase away from aesthetic perfection. Social algorithms are built to create artificial urgency through microtrends such as clean girl, coquette, or even Y2K. It exploits our evolutionary fear of social exclusion, otherwise known as FOMO, and makes us feel that our current possessions are instantly obsolete. I'm sure most of us, if not all, have fell into that deep dark hole of TikTok, where it has convinced us to make purchases just to feel relatable. For example, we had the different phases. I would say in 2018, everyone was obsessed with the biker shorts. I remembered Kim Kardashian was wearing it constantly, Kylie Jenner was wearing it constantly, and I was like, wait, I needed it, and I bought it in 2019. And then in 2019, I think that was the rise of Emma Chamberlain. She was known as the it girl, I would say, where she was very famous for her scrunchies. And I remembered when scrunchies came back to become viral or trendy again, everyone was just buying those very colorful scrunchies. I recall buying those rainbow scrunchies, like rainbow as in I bought scrunchies of different colors from red, orange, blue, yellow, green, blue, yellow, purple. Yeah, the colors of the rainbow, literally. And then I also remember that was the rise of Shein, and I have bought a lot of items from Shein. Ah, to fall into fast consumerism. That's not good. And then 2020, we also have the rise of the fun colors, all those pleated skirts, tennis skirts, those very colorful tops. Oh, yeah. Many of us got it. I got it. It's just, why do we need so much items? Clean girl, coquette. Now, I'm sure 90% of us, okay, maybe 90% is a stretch. I would say a good 75% of us don't use those items anymore. In fact, we probably wear the most basic outfit to go out. I wear my Uniqlo black top and just normal jeans and go out, especially on school days where I just simply do not care or give a fuck. Yeah, why do we keep falling into such micro trends? Oh yeah, I'm so sure that many of us have bought those very famous hydro flask back then when it was trending, when we had probably very perfectly usable water bottles at home. It was not leaking, it was not breaking, can store water. We just wanted to glamify our appearance. We wanted to have a new comfy water bottle. And then afterwards, that the hydro flask trend, it slowly rose to Stanley cups. I did not fall for that trend because I didn't want to carry a Stanley water bottle with handle everywhere. It was just a bit bulky. Plus, I don't drive, so that just seemed unrealistic for me. And then there was the Awala. Oh my god, the Awala water bottles. Tell me why. Okay, in this lifespan, I have probably bought about 4 Awala water bottles. 4 Awala bottles for one human being, that is just absurd. Because 4 Awala water bottles should last, oh no, 4 Awala water bottles should be given to 4 different human individuals, not just one. That, my friend, is definitely over purchase. And that is also a great form of consumerism. But I just wanted to buy the different colors of Awala. I do not need that much water bottles. In fact, I only need 2, one for home and one for school work or just to bring outdoors. Not 4. 4 is excessive. 4 is too much. But then again, it makes me feel that my current water bottle or my current clothes suddenly feels embarrassing, especially my old items. It just feels that it's not trendy anymore, where a new viral version have just took over my FYP this week. And suddenly we're off to our e-commerce platforms like TikTok Shop, Taobao, Amazon to add those trendy items to our cart so when it arrives we can feel relatable, trendy again. The void filling cycle. Why does getting the exact package we waited all week just to feel completely empty the moment it arrives? Materialism often acts as a band aid for existential boredom, loneliness, or burnout, where the buyer's remorse cycle sets in when the packages arrive on our doorsteps, and the underlying emotional problem is still there, where it prompts you as a consumer to buy the next thing to numb that feeling all over again. As we, as humans, stare at a pile of unopened packages, regardless if it's on your bedroom floor or in the living room, you feel more overwhelmed by the clutter than actually feeling happy on what's inside. Human needs and wants are not scarce, where essentially it's never ending. What you may deem as something you really want and promise yourself that, okay, I will shop again for the next year because I bought too much during our recent vacation or our recent shopping spree. And you tell yourself, okay, I'm never going to buy any more clothes ever again. But we all know those sentences we tell ourselves are all lies. Because you as a human can never truly be satisfied. Since human wants are genuinely bottomless, the goal isn't to force yourself to never want anything again. The goal is to separate your emotional distress from your bank account. So don't worry, I present you some ways to combat this problem. For example, the first would be forcing a mandatory 72% cooling off period, especially for any non essential purchase. That includes your clothes, your shoes, I would say even books. Sometimes you don't need that many fantasy books that you've added into your cart. Especially when you add a lot of items into your cart and do not check out, the dopamine spikes during the browsing and cart building phase. You should walk away from those items that you've added in. I mean, it's easy because you can just exit the app, walk away, do not look at your cart or even the whole app, okay, for at least 3 days. You give your prefrontal cortex time to re engage to the real life, back to society, and letting that emotional high settle. And after that 72 hours mark, that is 3 days, you still care about the item where you really, really need it, you really, really want it. Okay, can consider maybe purchasing it. But I would say a good 80% of that time, you forget that those items were in your cart. Those items I mentioned earlier on, by tomorrow, I've already forgotten that I've added all those Christmas decors, home decors. It's a way of just letting your brain think again, where you have disassociated yourself from those unneeded items. Another way you can combat it is interrupt it with an emotional trigger, especially with free alternatives. The tactic is to identify what emotions is triggering that search. Are you bored? Are you lonely? Or burned out from school or work? Create a menu of zero cost actions that may satisfy that exact emotional need. If you're bored, okay, swap your scrolling online shops for watching a fast paced thriller or play a quick mobile game. I don't care whatever game it is. Mobile Legends, Call of Duty, Valorant. I don't know what other games are trending, but even Brawl Stars. I saw many guys playing it during orientation. Open those game apps that doesn't require you to spend money and just play that game. Because playing those games, I'm sure that's free. Oh yeah, even your Nintendo Switch, as I recall, I got one, but I never played it. See, that just proves the point. Do you actually need it? No, you don't need it. You just bought it on impulse. So instead of buying or creating that same mistake again, switch to a quick alternative. And if you're lonely, okay, don't open that e-commerce platform. Don't open that Amazon Prime. Text a friend. Record a voice note for someone. Or even download dating apps. Fuck it, why not? It's better than spending actual money. But then again, dating apps, you spend money, especially if you're a man. You'll be spending money on going on dates. But that is a problem for another time because you're building genuine connections. Instead, don't buy things you don't need. Switch for better alternatives. Calling your friend, give them a FaceTime, say, hey, long time no meet. How are you? And then engage conversations with them. Because remember, conversations are free. But checking out in your cart, your shopping cart online, oh, honey, that ain't free. And finally, if you're burnt out, okay, close your laptop, close your phone, take a break, go on a hot shower, play some music, play Rihanna, play Beyonce. Just play some music that cools off your nerves, and you can also turn off the lights, do some skincare, some mask, play Lana Del Rey as you stare on your ceiling fan and just watch it slowly turn and penetrate, rather than rewarding yourself with a new online order. Hey, remember, relaxation is also free. Take good advantage of it. Finally, another solution that you can use instead of spending money is calculating your purchases in terms of life hours. I'm sure many of us have started working, especially even at a young age. Convert that price tag into thinking the number of hours you have set in your office or you have spent during work, because that's it. I'm sure many of us students have work part-time that requires us to do physical labor, and you calculate those life hours you've dedicated to your work, be it wherever you have worked, in office or outside, elsewhere, in restaurants, bartendering, and calculate the amount of hours needed to earn the exact amount you're trying to check out in your shopping cart. Instead of asking yourself, is this shirt worth $40? Why do we need a $40 shirt in the first place? Ask yourself, is this shirt worth 3 to 4 hours of my soul, mental energy sitting on my desk or standing bartending ridiculous customers that have absolutely drained the shit out of me? When you frame your spending as trading your personal freedom, your life, blood, sweat, and tears into monetary terms, impulse items suddenly lose their shine. You're thinking of it as your life hours dedicated away to meaningless items you do not need. So next time when you purchase the most useless items, like Pop Mart blind boxes that are so overpriced in my opinion, think of it as standing outside in the hot air, bartending, or serving customers. Was it worth it to buy that mini blind box that we do not need? No, it's not. Put it back down or delete that item from your shopping cart. We do not need it. It's not worth it. Close your eyes and slowly walk away. Overall verdict. What do you deem as little as just online shopping or retail therapy may just be a shopping addiction that rolls up because of your own consumerism habits. You may think of it as a small, harmless situation, but remember, problems always start out small and slowly start to poison its roots, rising its way up to the top. There you have it, folks. Today we have discussed how consumerism have ruined our daily lives. Please, guys, be very mindful of what you spend as humans. Yes, I get it. We have our free will. We can buy whatever we want so long we have that free will mentality instilled in our brains. And I know some of us have adult money now, so we get to spend on whatever we want because it simply makes us more happy. Am I right? But the truth is, do we? Do we actually feel more happy? Do we actually feel more contented after making those purchases? Ask yourself that the next time you're trying to check out, physically or online. So, thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode of the Yabble. See you again next time. Loves and kisses. Bye.